And it's not just me sharing a lot of knowledge with you today. I also encourage you guys to take action, right? Just because you learn something doesn't mean that anything's going to really happen in your life unless you actually take action, right? So if you have a notebook and a pen out, feel free to type in the number 1. Awesome. I see a lot of ones already. You guys are ready to go. Perfect. Okay, let's get started. So let's do a quick introduction. Hi, my name is Steve. I'm a wealth coach. I'm an investor and trader and a former public school teacher. And if you do a quick Google search on me, most likely you've seen me on Business Insider, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, BuzzFeed. And I really try my best to share with everyone around the world that learning about finances, budgeting, having a good positive relationship towards money, and investing, even though we never learned it as a kid from our parents or teachers, it's a very attainable thing that once we learn it, it's not scary anymore, I promise. And my whole goal for this entire masterclass is to demystify a lot of these ideas about money and to make money very easy and less scary to understand. Sound good? All right. If you guys are ready, go ahead and type in the number 1. Perfect. I see a lot of number 1s right now. And this is from a lot of you guys. Thank you so much for all the positive comments. We have over 4-5 million followers on Instagram, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for following me. This is from Johnny just a couple weeks ago. Johnny says, Steve, I love all your advice. It makes so much sense and I follow a lot of it and can attest it pays off with discipline. Make every paycheck count, people. Save, save, save. Don't fall into the consumerism trap and your future self will thank you. Thank you so much, Johnny. And this is also from Dana and Soulfully and Lolo Smooth. Lolo says, I love all your posts. You're awesome. Just wanted to drop a note and show some appreciation. Thank you so much, Lolo. All right. So if you guys are ready, again, type in the number 1. I see a lot of you are already typing in the number 1. I don't have to ask again. Remember that for today's masterclass is for educational purposes only. And I do encourage all of you to keep a positive and open mindset because I know a lot of us were never taught about money and investing growing up. So some of the things I share here today, it's going to sound a little bit strange, but keep an open and positive mindset. And also, this is a no judgment zone. Some of you are already investing, maybe in a Roth IRA. Maybe you are already contributing into your 401k. Maybe some of your money is already in a high yield account like a CD or maybe a money market or maybe a high yield savings account. Or maybe some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's okay. As long as you're here with an open and positive mindset, you're learning about this, you got out of your comfort zone, that's what really matters, okay? You are here today for a reason to learn about money because money is a bit of a taboo, right? So give yourselves a pat on the back right now. So before I talk about investing, I do want to address some of the lies that we were taught, and they typically come down to these 3 places. The first place is our job. How many of us have we went to our 9-to-5 jobs and maybe our boss told us that in order to be financially successful in life, we basically have to work 30 or 40 years, and by the time we hit 60 or 65 years old, then we can comfortably retire. Like anyone can retire, right? Well, I'm going to demystify how this age and how this notion is not entirely accurate. The second place is from the finance world. How many of us have maybe turned on the TV, maybe we've looked on social media, looked at Yahoo Finance, CNBC, and we see a lot of people in these shirts and ties and suits, and they spew out a lot of these vocabulary words, terminology on how to invest in the stock market, and they show up with their business degrees and they make investing very complicated, right? And I'm going to share with you guys that this whole world here, they make it complicated on purpose, and that you don't need some sort of PhD in economics or in business. The third lie is from the government, where a lot of people, they say that, by the time you're 62 or 67 years old, the government's going to take care of you with Social Security, and you don't have to worry about anything. But I'm going to demystify how this is actually also not true, and that you should not only rely on Social Security, that you also need to have investments on the side to support you. Okay, and this is really why I highly encourage everyone to become financially independent. Amen. Okay, so what if I told you that there was a way out of this type of thinking? Because this is really what the world teaches us, right? And that's what this whole masterclass is all about. So go ahead and type in the number 1 if you know that you should be investing, but fear is holding you back. Or type in a number 1 if you already invest, but you're confused if you're investing in the right things. Type in 1 if you already have an emergency fund, but you don't know where to grow your money next. Type in 1 if you have minimal, low interest debt, but you want to start investing as early as possible, ASAP. And type in 1 if you want to generate passive income while investing for the long term. And really, this is going to be the masterclass for you. I see a lot of you are typing in the number 1 right now. Perfect. I see Angela and Jason type number 1, Jennifer and Natalie and Robert and Michael and Steven and Michelle typed 1. Perfect. And I encourage all of you guys to stay until the very end of the class, because I'm going to do a Q&A session with all of you, answer all of your questions, and give you guys a free $40 value gift. I'm going to give you a specific link so you can click on it, or if you miss it, it's okay. I will email it to you only for those of you who stay until the very end. Sound good? All right, perfect. So let me ask you, were you told that you needed to be smart and know how to pick stocks in order to be a good investor? Or maybe you were told that you need a lot of money to start investing. Or maybe you were told that you need to be absolutely debt-free to invest. Well, these are actually all myths that people told you. And again, I'm going to demystify all of these ideas here today in this masterclass. And this is really why I started Call to Leap. We have over 5,000 students right now. You can see a couple of pictures of me and my students in Zoom. And yeah, we have over 4 or 5 million followers across all social media platforms. And thank you guys so much for giving me the follow all these years and supporting me all these years. So a lot of times when people meet me, maybe on the streets, maybe they see me at Aldi or Target or at the mall, or, you know, when I'm grocery shopping, or maybe in the DMs or they email me, the most frequent question that I get is, Steve, is it possible to become financially free before the age of 65 years old? And my answer is absolutely. But it really depends on your habits. What you do today is going to dictate what your life is going to be in the next 10, 20 years or so, or maybe even 30 years. So we want to make sure that we build a strong foundation in your finances, in your journey to financial freedom now. So this way you have a lot of fruit trees, a lot of oak trees later on. Amen. Now, a lot of you may not know my backstory. A lot of you ask me in my emails and DMs, and you say, Steve, were you born rich? And my answer is absolutely not. My parents are actually immigrants. They came from Taiwan back in the 80s. They had me. And I remember my mom and dad, they worked so hard to start a life here in the United States. My dad went to school, and my mom, she was the working parent that supported us all. She worked as a waitress. She also worked as a maid. And I remember going to work with her every day after school from house to house to see her clean all these big people's homes. She would be inside their homes, vacuuming their house, cooking dinner for them, folding their laundry. And I would be sitting on the couch in these rich people's family rooms, and I'll be like either drawing or doing my homework. And I remember every day after work, we would go back to the car. And there were times where she would be so stressed out. She'd be sitting in the car. Sometimes she would be crying, and she would look at me and say, Steve, when you grow up, 我不要你用你的手，我要你用你的头. So translated from Mandarin is, I don't want you to use your hands. I want you to use your head. And that really stuck with me growing up. And I, of course, being raised by Asian parents, I wanted to make my parents proud. So my parents taught me that in order to be successful in life, like with what a lot of parents teach their kids, is that you want to make sure that you do well in school, you pass your SATs, you go to college and you get your degree and you get a nice job. And that's exactly what I did. When I went through school, I got my college degree, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's degree in education. I was part of the Robert Noyce Science Foundation, and I became a teacher. I became a public school teacher. You can see a couple pictures of me and my students in the past right here. These were very fun times. And yeah, I was teaching for 7 to 8 years. Now, the thing was, when I became a teacher, I was like, Mom, Dad, like, are you guys proud of me? I get to go to a school, I go to a workplace where I get to wear a nice shirt and tie, have my hair look nice and straight, right? And I thought I was a responsible adult. How many of you guys are working in the public school space? Maybe you can type in the number 1 in the comments. Okay. Cool. Okay. So if you are a teacher, or maybe you work in public school, in the public school system, you guys know what a 403B is. But as a teacher back then, I was investing in my 403B. I was working 10 plus hour days. A lot of you who are teachers, you know that the school hours don't just start when the bell rings and ends when the bell rings. We actually have to go to school early. Teachers have to make copies of quizzes and tests, fix the copy machine. For some reason, the copy machine always breaks down in the morning, right? After school, we would have to go to parent-teacher conferences, grade papers, lesson plans. So I was very stressed out working these 10 plus hour days. And I thought I was a responsible adult where I was depositing my money in a savings account because that's what my parents taught me, right? How many of you guys had parents who taught you something similar to this? Maybe you can type in the number 1 in the comments. Cool. Yeah. Some of you guys resonate with this, right? So I was very stressed out as a teacher, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, how am I supposed to retire comfortably? Like, being a teacher. I was actually a math teacher, and there was this one day I sat down, I was super stressed out, and I got out my calculator and I did some of the math, and I said, if I were to live very frugally, just like what my parents taught me, and I were to save all my money, there is absolutely no way for me to retire and live comfortably after the age of 60 or 65 years old. No way at all. How many of you guys have had this realization in your life? Maybe you just had this realization a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago with maybe your partner, or maybe just by yourself. Maybe you can type in the number 1, right? So I was thinking, okay, there must be something to this whole wealth building journey. Like, I'm looking online, I'm seeing all these people retiring earlier. They are able to retire. How are all these rich people rich? And what I did was I looked it up. I started reading, I started Googling things, and I discovered this movement, this community called the FIRE movement, or the FIRE group. How many of you guys have heard of FIRE? If you haven't, FIRE is an acronym for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And I found out that there were these groups of people all over the world where they had regular jobs like you and me, and they were able to retire much earlier than the golden age of 65 and 60 years old. And I was like, how is it that they did this? Okay, so are you ready? If you're taking notes, this is the secret. It's not even a secret. I'm just going to tell you right now. They did 2 things. 1, they lived below their means. They lived frugally, right? They lived below their means. And 2, they invested their money. They invested their money because they all knew that they couldn't just save their money to wealth. They had to invest it. They had to let their money work for them. And I was like, what is it that all these people in the FIRE community are investing in? They were either investing in real estate, but predominantly the majority of the people in the FIRE movement, they were investing in the stock market. So I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know what this whole stock market thing is about. So I started Googling, I read a whole bunch of books. I started investing myself. I opened up my brokerage account and started investing a little by little, saw my net worth go up and then went down and it went up and it went down. And then ultimately I saw over the long term, my net worth, my portfolio started to grow really, really fast. It started to exponentially grow. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing stuff. I wish I learned this a lot sooner, right? How many of you guys have looked into the stock market and was like, oh yeah, I need to be investing in the stock market? Maybe you can type in the number 1 right now. So once I learned about this, of course, I still continued to live below my means. I started to tutor. A lot of you guys know that I tutored after school every day. And even on the weekends, I was working a lot in my 20s. And I was basically able to invest in the stock market and grow my net worth to over $1 million. So I have a question for all of you guys right now. I became financially independent myself. I became financially free myself. So my question to you is, what does financial freedom mean to you? And let me know in the comments. I know that whenever I put out a poll on YouTube or Instagram, a lot of people will say, oh, I want to spend more time with friends and family members. Some people will say, I want to pursue my passions. Other people say that they want to travel the world. I'm looking into the comments. I see that, yeah, you also want to travel. I see a lot of you want to not worry about finances anymore. Some of you are saying that you want to leave your job. You want to be able to travel. I see some of you saying that you want to be able to retire your parents. That's very noble of you. I love that answer. I see some of you say that you just don't want to worry about money. Take care of your family, take care of your parents. Awesome. Yeah. And whatever it is that you say, there's no right or wrong answer. Financial freedom means whatever it is, it means to you. All right. So the thing is, whenever I talk about financial freedom, about the importance of investing, budgeting, and investing, there are a lot of people who say, Steve, this isn't for me. I don't want to invest. However, I share with them these statistics. If you look at my screen right here, the Bureau of Labor Statistics indicated that back in 2020, 10.6 million people 65 years and older were in the workforce. And not because that they wanted to, but it's because they had to. It's because they didn't have enough saved and invested by the time they retired. If you take a look at some of the articles on CNBC, Motley Fool, you can see that 40% of the American middle class face poverty in retirement. Some people say that Social Security alone is not going to be able to support them, right? Social Security pays out around on average $1,700, $1,800 a month. If you live in coastal areas like myself, I live in California. A lot of you live in New York, right? Or Hawaii. You know that $1,700, $1,800 a month is not going to be able to support you, right? And Forbes says that Americans are worried about retirement savings. And of course, they should be, right? Because people, again, are not investing or saving enough. So what typically happens when people don't invest? One, two, or all three things happen. One, they have to downsize their lifestyle. They can't go out to eat as much or travel as much. Or maybe they have to move to a smaller home. Second, they have to ask for family support. There are a lot of my friends and coworkers. I don't know if this is true for you guys, or maybe you know people, or maybe you are these people where they have to support their mom and dad. And sometimes my friends and my other family members have to support their grandparents too. They all rely on them, and that's a lot of pressure for them. And the third thing that will happen, just like what I talked about before, is they have to go back to work at the age of 65, not because they want to, but because they have to. So, Steve, why is it that people don't invest? Well, it's because people fear what they don't understand. So what can we do? We can learn about it. We can use knowledge as our weapon, right? This is what I usually tell my 6th graders, 7th graders, like Mr. Chen is here to teach you guys the tools. And once you learn about it, it's not that hard. It's not that scary anymore. So if you're taking notes right now, good job. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Right now, I'm going to talk about the 3 secrets to investing. All right. So here's secret number 1, if you want to write this down. Investing and income can actually be passive. This is how to get started with investing. It's actually not that hard. I think a lot of people have this misunderstanding that in order to start investing, you have to have all these computer monitors, you have to be clicking and clacking, and I don't know, like looking at all these charts. You don't need to do that. It's actually much simpler than that. All you need is a phone or a laptop. How many of you guys have a phone and laptop? Of course you do. That's how you're watching this webinar, right? This masterclass right now. So what you can do is you can Google a brokerage account like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, or if you're out of the US, Interactive Brokers. These are my 4 favorite brokers. The ones that I personally use are Fidelity and Charles Schwab. I like their customer service. If you like these other ones, feel free to use them, but these are the ones that I use, okay? So first, you're going to choose a brokerage account. How many of you guys already have chosen a brokerage account? Maybe you can type in 1 in the comments or share with everyone which brokerage that you've chosen. Perfect. I see a lot of people use Fidelity and Schwab, a lot of Fidelities and Vanguards. Okay, yeah, I like Fidelity, and a lot of you guys know that on Instagram and YouTube, I always talk about Fidelity. It's my go-to brokerage. So the next step is, Steve, what accounts do beginners start with? I typically say that you want to start off with a Roth IRA or just an IRA, right? Regular traditional IRA, and a taxable brokerage account. So what's an IRA? An IRA stands for an individual retirement account. So you can write that down, individual retirement account. And with a Roth IRA, it's amazing because you can invest in this IRA, grow it to $1 million. Yes, I said $1 million. I'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. And then when you take out your money at 59.5, all that money is going to be tax and penalty free. Now, if you want to be investing and you want to use your money in the short term, you can also open up a taxable brokerage account or a TBA. That's what my community members and I abbreviate it to. So Roth IRA and TBA, taxable brokerage accounts. Now, the next step is once you put money inside, of course, then you need to invest your money. This is the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people make, where they just leave their money inside their brokerage accounts in their Roth IRA and their taxable brokerage, and they never invest. You never want to do that. You need to buy assets that are going to grow. So what I like to buy is this thing called an ETF, exchange traded funds, or these low cost index funds. How many of you guys have been to the grocery store and you feel very overwhelmed with what to buy? So I like to go to Trader Joe's, right? And I go to the popcorn section and they have so much popcorn there. And I'm always like, which popcorn should I buy? Or maybe they have a lot of different snacks there. I'm a big snacker, right? I like to watch TV, watch my movies, and then just, just munch on things. So a lot of times, investing can be very overwhelming like that too. A lot of times people say, well, should I invest in Facebook Meta or Walmart, Costco, Amazon.com, Google? Well, instead of choosing one snack or one individual company, what you can do is invest in all of them. Isn't that amazing? And when you invest in an exchange traded fund or an ETF, to be short, you can invest in the top companies in the United States. So what am I talking about here? It's called the S&P 500. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, I've heard of this before, S&P 500. Well, S&P just stands for Standards and Poor's. 500 represents the top 500 companies in the United States. So if you take a moment right now, if you look around you, you look at your hand, your phone, your desk, your living room, wherever you are, in the office, in the bathroom. Hopefully you're not watching this in the bathroom, right? Most likely there's a brand or a company around you that is part of the S&P 500, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Amazon, Microsoft, Visa, Tesla, Apple, right? All of these are part of the S&P 500. And what you do is when you invest in an ETF, when you buy one share of an ETF, you can basically buy all the top 500 companies all at once. Isn't that amazing? Right? It takes out all the guesswork where you can just buy the entire S&P 500. So because I don't like to gatekeep things, I like to be very transparent. The things that I invest in are SPY and SPLG. That's for me. That's for my portfolio. You can invest in whatever you want. A lot of my friends and family members and community members, right? A lot of my students, they all invest in SPY and SPLG. A lot of them also invest in, you can write this down, VOO and even IVV. They do all the same thing. They track the S&P 500. What I say is just choose one. It's the same thing. Just choose one and just build a position in that, okay? Don't overcomplicate things, all right? So how many of you guys are learning a lot so far? Maybe you can type in the number 1 in the comments. Okay, I see a lot of number 1s, perfect. So this is my favorite ETF, SPY, and you can see that over the past several years, the S&P 500 has gone up. But the thing is, with a lot of beginners, they like to hyper-focus on the short-term trend. Maybe there's something in the news where it will make the stock market very volatile. And if you look at the 5-day chart, yeah, this looks kind of scary. It's red. It's like kind of going down. But what I say to all investors is breathe, take a step back, and look at that long-term view. Okay, because even in the last 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years, the stock market has gone up. And you can Google this yourself, fact check me, okay? I want to make sure that you guys feel 100% confident. And the S&P 500 has given, on average, around 7 to 12% annual returns. Doesn't mean it always gives 7 to 12% every year. No, some years it can go down 10% or 20%. Other years it can go up 10, 20, or 20 something percent, right? So on average, if you stretch out that time horizon, the x-axis, right? Speaking in math terms, the S&P 500 likes to rise way more than it falls. Cool? All right. Now the thing is, people will say, Steve, the S&P 500 as a whole has gone up. That means every company has gone up, right? Wrong. This is the number one mistake that a lot of investors make. When they get started with investing, they get distracted by all these shiny objects with what they see on the news media outlets, on social media, where people are investing in Dogecoin or GameStop or in these high-risk assets, right? Don't want to do that. Okay, so guys, we want to invest responsibly here. Okay, because this is your money. You don't want to be investing in whatever is trending or hyped up at the moment. You want to be investing in companies that are actually making money. You want to be investing in the S&P 500, right? These top performing companies. These are kind of like the honor roll students in your school. Remember the honor roll kids? The ones that are really smart, that get good report cards. The S&P 500, it's very similar. The majority of the S&P 500 companies, they all get good report cards. They're making money every quarter, every year, and they're showing their investors like, hey, look how good of a company I am, right? So let's invest responsibly. This is not the time to quote unquote YOLO our money, like what the young people say. So Steve, how do you make passive income, right? This is a very popular question. So if you want to write this down, you can do so right now. It's with dividends and ETF growth. So what does this mean? Well, because I like to be transparent, this is how much dividends I usually get on a quarterly basis. Of course, it goes up over time because I'm investing in more shares. But last quarter, I got around $241 from an ETF called SCHD. I also got $75 from WM, which is Waste Management. It's a trash company. I got $42 from Meta. I got $69 from Google, $183 from Microsoft. So how am I doing this? Well, when you invest in these dividend-paying ETFs or stocks, basically when you buy one share or a couple of shares and you hold onto it, you get paid out a little bit of money every quarter or every month, depending on what kind of shares you have. Pretty cool. You don't have to lift a finger. You just buy it, hold in your portfolio, and the money just comes in. It's very similar to a high-yield savings account where you have the money deposited into your high-yield savings, and now you get higher interest. So how many of you guys have a high yield savings account already? Because of me, because you watch my videos, they're like, oh, what is this whole thing? And you put your money in a high yield savings and now you're making way more money. I know a lot of my followers, they are getting like a couple $100 a month of free money just because of the higher interest. Go ahead and type in 1 if you are. Okay, I see a lot of ones. Perfect. Awesome. So this is how dividends work. Because I like to speak in analogies, I'm a teacher. If you say that you invested in a house for, say, $500,000, you bought a house, well, you can actually rent it out for $1,500 a month. Similarly, you can buy these shares, right? And as you hold on to these shares, you can kind of get this rental income, these dividends every month or every quarter. Now, here's the thing. Not only do you get this income, but the asset itself, the stocks itself, right? The house itself also appreciates. So this home that's worth $500,000 right now can appreciate to $2.5 million in the next 30, 40 years. Some of you are laughing right now going, oh, this is impossible. Yes, it is, because if you take a look at the real estate market, it likes to rise over time, right? This is a very natural thing. This is what all wealthy people do. Not only that, rent is also going to increase to $7,500 maybe, right? Some of you will also laugh at this too. I tell my students all the time, sometimes I have these coffee meetups with them, and they'll say, Mr. Chen, like, really, rent will go up to like $7,500 like in the future? I'm like, yeah, this is called inflation, right? Things go up over time. And you want to make sure that you are not just the one paying the rent, that you are the one collecting the rent, that you are the asset owner. Folks, in order to be wealthy, the number one lesson that I teach everyone is that you have to own assets. you have to own assets. You want to be the one having all these assets that not only rise in value, but also give you some sort of cash flow that also pays you on a monthly or quarterly basis. Amen? All right. This is from one of my students. This is from Frida. Frida says, I wish we heard about Call to Leap a lot sooner. Financial freedom is absolutely possible, and we're now able to help others with the extra funds we earn. Thank you, Steve and his team, for sharing their valuable knowledge. Thank you so much, Frida. So how many of you guys are learning a lot so far? Maybe you can type in the number 1 in the comments right now. Cool. I see Eric and Lauren says number 1. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. I see Jessica and Daniel. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys are getting a lot of value from this. So here is secret number 2. You actually don't need a lot of money to invest. What you need is time. So the biggest popular question I get, DMs, through comments is, Steve, how long does it take to become a millionaire? Now, I do want to preface by saying that not everyone needs to be a millionaire. Some people, they might need less than that, depending on your living situations, right? Some people might need more than $1 million. But let's just entertain this question. How long does it take to become a millionaire? Well, if you start at the age of 20, you invest in the S&P 500, did you know that all you really need to invest is $75 a month? That's it, $75 a month, right? If you want to become a millionaire by the time that you're 70 years old, getting that 10% return. Okay, so I'm just using these nice round numbers for educational purposes. However, if you could go, I don't want to invest, I want to put it off, it's not for me. If you wait until 30, you're then going to have to contribute and invest $200 a month. If you wait another 10 years, that becomes $500 a month. If you wait until you're 50, that's $1,500 a month. And if you wait until you're 60, you're going to have to contribute and invest $5,300 a month to become a millionaire by the time you're 70 with a 10% average annual return. So what's the takeaway here? You want to invest as early and often as possible. Okay? Because the longer you wait, the less compounding effect your portfolio is going to have, and you have to play a lot more catch up. There are a lot of times where I get these DMs and emails from people where they say, Steve, I'm 68 years old. I have no savings, no retirement funds, and I want to become a millionaire next year. How do I do it? My answer to them, because I'm very transparent, you can't. You statistically can't. Okay? Because in order to go from $0 to $1 million in 12 months, like how is that possible? Like how much do you have to invest to get to that point? You don't want to wait. You don't want to put it off until you're, 60, 70, 80 years old to get started with investing. It doesn't mean that you can't invest at 60 years old or 70 years old. If you have at least 10 years to invest, then yeah, of course you can, right? There's going to be different strategies with that, but you want to make sure that you get started with investing as early as you can. And even though you don't become a millionaire yourself, it's okay. What you can do is you can invest for yourself and then pass it down to your kids. So this way they have a good start. So they don't have to go through so much as an 18 or 20 or 23-year-old or 25-year-old, right? So yeah, that's my whole thing about passing down generational wealth. Amen? All right. So my next question is, Steve, can I still invest even if I have low interest debts or not a lot of money? Absolutely you can, right? This is the best part of this masterclass because I'm going to show you how attainable this is. So I'm going to talk about my two friends here, Derek and Allie. Derek, let's say he saves $1,000 a month into Chase, Wells Fargo, or Bank of America, which I highly say that you don't want to just put all your savings in because of the low interest rate. High yield savings account is a way to go, right? And he does this for 40 years. Well, guess what? He's going to save and going to have around $480,000. Some of you might think, oh, this is pretty good. That's like almost $500,000. But if we take a look at Allie, she invests her money, $1,000 a month. By the time she has 40 years of investing experience, right? 40 years passes by, she's going to have around $5.3 million with average returns. Look at those numbers right now. You can see that Allie has more than 10 times the amount that Derek has just because she invested her money. Isn't that crazy? Right? Aren't you guys like blown away by this? If you are, maybe you can type in the number 1 right now. So some of you might say, Steve, I don't have $1,000 a month. It's okay. Start with baby steps. This is what I encourage all of my students, my community members, right? I say, hey, start with, say, $100 or $150. How many of you guys can invest $100 a month right now comfortably? Great. I see a lot of you saying yes, right? Or number one. So let's say Ali were to invest $100 a month for the next 40 years and she never increases it, right? Because of course, for my community members, I say start with 100 and slowly increase it to 110, 120 to $200, right? So you want to start small and then start going big, right? Well, if she were to only invest $100 a month for the next 40 years, her portfolio value is going to be around $530,000. But if you break the number down even more, look at this. She basically only invested $48,000 of her own money. The extra growth that she got was $482,000. This is all free money because of what? Compound interest. Can you guys all write down compound interest in the chat? Isn't that amazing, right? This is how wealthy people become wealthy. It's not with them just going to a job for 30, 40, 50 years, right? Of course, in the beginning of your life, it's normal to go to a job, right? To work for your money. But then we need to shift that mindset into letting our money work for us. Amen? Okay? All right. This is from one of my students. This is from George. He says, I really appreciate Steve breaking everything down. I feel more comfortable having another income stream that will allow me to get closer to financial freedom. Thank you so much, George. This is from Bad Rad. Bad Rad says, Steve, you are such a great teacher. I love how informative you are. And D. Rosales says, thanks, the courses are great. I highly recommend it to everyone. Thank you, everyone. So here is secret number 3. If you guys are getting a lot of value from this, you're taking notes right now, give yourselves a pat on the back. Go ahead and type in a number 1 too. All right, so here's secret number 3. You want to make $100,000 your short-term goal. Why is this? Well, let me share with you some of my portfolios right now. So these are some snapshots, some screenshots of my portfolios over the past couple of days, past couple of weeks. I have around 1.2, 1.3 mil in Fidelity, and I have around $250,000 in my Charles Schwab accounts, right? And again, remember, I came from a teacher background. So Steve, why is it that we want to make 100K our first milestone? Well, let's say that you were to save up your first $100,000, right? You're putting $1,000 a month into the stock market, into your brokerage account, into your retirement accounts, and you're getting that 7 to 12% average annual returns. Did you know that you're going to grow your next $100,000 in 4 years? If you continue this same rhythm, you're very disciplined with investing, you get your second 100K growth in 3 years. And then your third 100K growth in 2 years. And then your fourth 100K growth in 1 year. And basically every year after that, your account grows $100,000. By you working? No, absolutely not. Just by you just chilling at home, watching Netflix, right? Watching The Last of Us. That's what I'm watching right now. Didn't really like the last episode, but you know, you're just chilling at home, watching TV, going on hikes with your partner, with your dogs, and you're making money. Because let's think about it. Once you grow your accounts to that $1 million and we're getting that average annual 10% return, well, what's 10% of $1 million? Go ahead and write that down in the chat. That's right. It's $100,000. So basically every year after that, your net worth, your portfolio value is going to go up around $100,000. But wait, it gets even better because yes, you get that $100,000, but now the following year, you get way more than $100,000. Because think about it, you don't have $1 million anymore. You now have $1.1 million. So when you find 10% of that the following year, well, what's that? It's now $110,000. And if you add that back in the following year, you're going to grow your net worth by another $121,000. Add that back in the following year, you're going to get around $132,000 and so on and so forth. You're basically using the money that you grew, adding it back into the principal and just growing more money from that. That's how compound interest works. You see, majority of Americans, they put their money in a savings account where their money just kind of grows in this linear line, right? Using math terms here. But if you were to do what the rich people do, you follow their habits, you follow their path, you're going to see their net worth grow in a exponential J curve. Remember that back in 8th grade, 9th grade, right? We learned about J curves, exponential compounding growth. That's how wealthy people do it. They let their money work for them. Does this make sense, everyone? If this makes sense, go ahead and type in a number 1 in the comments. Hopefully everyone's learning a lot right now. So this is from Steven. Steven says, Call to Leap helped me find a strategy that actually works. I learned how to be successful with investing, collecting dividends, and how to actually grow my accounts responsibly. Thank you so much, Steven. And this is from Mogum. She's investing in her portfolio, and she now has grown it to over $28,000 in the last 6 months with monthly contributions and letting her shares grow. I am now on my way to financial freedom and working towards breaking the cycle of debt in my family. And this is a very powerful message. I know a lot of us, we struggled with money growing up. Maybe we saw our parents or grandparents or our uncles or whoever took care of us, they struggled with money, maybe with paying off their credit card bills, putting food on the table, putting a roof on top of our heads. And you growing up, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to continue the cycle as an adult. You never learn about money from your parents or your teachers. But I promise you, it really just takes one person in a family to change their entire family's trajectories lives. And it really just takes one person to say, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone to learn about money. So this way, I don't have to continue this cycle of financial illiteracy, this cycle of debt. And I really believe that person is you. You are here for a reason to learn about money. So this way, you can be that person for your entire family. Yes, you can grow your money, pass this on to your kids and then your kids' kids, and that's called generational wealth. But most importantly, you can pass down generational knowledge. That's what's most important and most impactful. Because how many of us wish that, yes, our parents gave us money, passed down some sort of inheritance, but how many of us wish that our parents taught us how to invest? They taught us how to be conscious about money, how to let our money work for us rather than us constantly working for our money. And that person can be you. You can be the person, that node in your family tree to teach all your other family members or your cousins and everyone that this is the path to go. Amen. I do have a question for you now. How many of you guys want to invest with a strategic plan to get to financial freedom? If you want to invest with a strategic plan, go ahead and type in the number 1 in the comments right now. Awesome. I see a lot of ones. Thank you guys. Oh, you guys are so kind. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are learning so much. Okay. All right. So I do have good news. My Road to 100K community is actually open for everyone in this room right now. So what is this? It's a community of wealth builders where people get to talk about investing, they get to learn how to invest, and we all grow as a community and we learn how to grow our net worth. I have a lot of students, a lot of members. This is from Eugene. Eugene says, shout out to Steve. Thanks for making difficult concepts easy to understand and for your coaching the past few months. Jess says, I just started with the program about a month and a half ago, and oh my gosh, it's the best thing I ever did. Thank you so much, Jess. So what is Road to 100K? It's a self-paced video class, Q&A coaching and community, and you get to see my weekly investments. This is from Chef Rel. I think you can see in the comments that we all appreciate you for the information you share with us all. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chef. So this is for you if you have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund already built. If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to join this. I don't want you to join this. This is for you if you can invest $500 a month to compound your investments. This is for you if you can dedicate an hour a week to learn. And this is for you if you have patience and discipline. Now, this is not for you if you are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, because we don't do that in our community. We want to invest in a responsible way. This is not for you if you're trying to trade crypto or Forex or penny stocks or do any day trading. This is not for you if you are in serious credit card debts, 12% plus of interest or higher, pay that off first. I want to make sure that you guys take care of yourselves and your family first. And this is not for you if you don't have consistent income. Because again, you want to make sure that you take care of yourself. And if you have a family member or if you have multiple family members relying on you, you want to make sure that you have your finances together first before you start investing. Now, what's inside Road to 100K? Well, you get access to 20 beginner videos that teach you how to build an S&P 500 investment portfolio, 20 quizzes to make sure you understand the concepts, and you get access to our private wealth building community. You basically learn all the strategies that I use myself to grow my portfolio to reach $1 million. And this right here is a $6,000 value. This is from Jake. Jake says, Steve is the man. Steve is a great resource and has built a brilliant suite of helpful products to aid in anyone's money journey. His story is real and very transparent about his tips to help people get organized and accomplish their goals. So what's inside? Well, this course tackles top beginner investing questions. So if you have these questions, this is going to be perfect for you. One, how to properly set up your Roth IRA and taxable brokerage accounts. If you're wondering, oh, how do I buy ETFs like the S&P 500, or if you want to branch out to the NASDAQ 100, if you don't know what that is, I talk about that too, or the Dow 30. This course also talks about how to generate passive dividend income, just like how I am able to collect a couple $100s a month. This also talks about how much to invest every month based on your age, and you get to see what me and the community members are investing at the moment. And for all of you watching this right now, I'm going to give you guys 3 bonuses. Bonus number 1, you're going to get access to my Investing for Introverts and Invest Like a Millionaire ebooks. I'm going to give that to you for free. Second, I'm going to share with you all of my investments in the past year so you can see how all my investments grew. Okay, sound good, right? Like I like transparency. And bonus number 3, I'm going to throw in coaching calls and the community just for you guys. So this way you get support in every way possible. All of this for free if you guys sign up today. And I'm going to be sending you guys these emails to keep you guys accountable. I'm going to share with you guys what to do, how to get started. So this way, you know what the next actionable steps are. And this right here is a $2,000 value. This is from Terry. Terry says, this is solid educational content and she really loves the community. Jong says, the most valuable thing within this community is, of course, the people, the community that you get to connect with. Because how many of us wish that we were able to have friends or family members where we can talk about investing, where money isn't so taboo. And this community is here for you to make money a thing that isn't very scary to talk about anymore. So what's inside Road to 100K? Well, you get 20 beginner investing videos. That's a $1,000 value. 20 beginner investing quizzes, $500 value. Coaching calls, $2,000 value. Wealth building community, $1,500 value. Weekly investments from me, coaches, and from everyone in the community. Because again, we love transparency. That's a $1,000 value. So this whole thing is a $6,000 value. This is from Vanessa. Vanessa says, Call to Leap's online content has been incredibly helpful in guiding me towards smart investment decisions, recommending insightful books, and providing consistent encouragement. Their platform is a great resource for personal and financial growth. I highly recommend it. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Bonus number 1, if you guys sign up right now, you're going to get my 2 free ebooks, Investing for Introverts and Invest Like a Millionaire. This is from one of my members. He says, I recently read the Call to Leap ebooks and exceeded all my expectations. The content was incredibly comprehensive and life-changing. He is knowledgeable and explains complex topics in a clear, digestible way. Definitely a must read. Bonus number 2, of course, you get access to my community investments. See my community investments. You get to see what I invested in last year, this year, what I'm about to invest in, and you get to see what everyone else is investing in. This is from Jeff. Jeff says, I am a newbie and so much information to retain. Steve does a great job slowing down and making sense out of the information and telling you what to look out for. Thank you for thinking about us new investors. Thank you so much, Jeff. And bonus number 3, you get my welcome live coaching calls and other coaching calls too, where I get to answer all of your questions. The coaches get on these calls with you. They answer all your beginner questions. I know some of the times we feel like we have stupid questions. There are no stupid questions. We are here to help. Everyone was once a beginner, okay? So this is a no judgment zone, and we are here to help and support you. And you get to talk to and see all the other members in the coaching calls too. Amazing, right? So a lot of the questions that we get is, okay, what's the challenge for this month? Because we usually have these weekly or monthly challenges. Or what did you guys all invest in this month? And we talk about that. Or how do I set up my accounts? And people give feedback on that. This is from Tammy. Tammy says, Steve gives such great insights on stocks, savings, and investment strategies. He is calm, approachable, and knowledgeable. The way Steve provides information on what is usually hard to understand in an easily digestible manner. He adds value to any investor at any age. Thank you so much, Tammy. And because you guys are all here, you guys made it until the very end, I am going to actually provide a discount for all of you in here right now. This is going to be a 48-hour sale. Usually this is a $6,000 value. I sell this for $1,997. But because you guys are here today, I'm going to drop it down to $997 for the next 48 hours. You get to save $1,000 right now. And I'm going to only open this to the first 50 students because I don't want to have too many people come in, or up to the next 48 hours, whatever comes first, okay? And on top of that, this is going to be a no-risk 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you watch the videos and you go, this isn't for me, you take the quizzes, you get on coaching calls with me, you start investing, you open up your brokerage account, you do everything in the plan within the community, you talk to everyone, you go, this still isn't for me, it's okay. I'm going to give you guys your money back 100%. Guaranteed. Sound good? Zero risk at all. So this is going to be an annual membership. So if you decide you want to renew your membership the following year, the price will not increase on you. So you get to lock in your price right now. If you guys want to join, you can join right now because I am going to increase the price after 48 hours or when the first 50 seats are filled up. Awesome. I see a lot of you are already joining. I see Anthony and Jessica just joined, and Daniel and Ashley and Paul just joined. Awesome. For those of you who just joined, congratulations. Wait for the email to be sent to you. I'm going to tell you how to log in, how to sign up for the Call to Leap app. You can download it in the App Store, and you can watch a couple of videos right now in the intro videos, and also go to the community and you can introduce yourself. You can say hi and everyone's going to say hi to you back. And we are going to have a coaching call real soon. So I want you to go to the tab where it talks about live coaching calls, and then you can sign up for it, reserve your spot, and we can all see each other, and you can jump on a call with me or maybe another coach, and we can answer all of your questions. Okay, welcome everyone for those of you who just joined. So we have around 42 seats left. If you guys want to join, you can click on the link below or to the right, depending on if you're watching this on your tablet or your laptop or on your phone. Okay. All right, awesome. So I'm going to answer a couple of questions right now. This is from a couple of you guys. Will the price increase? Can I lock in the discount offer? Yes, like what I said before, once you get locked in and I increase the price later on, the price does not increase on you. Okay, so I'm not Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. The next question I have is, Steve, is there a monthly option? There is no monthly option. So I want to make sure that I am able to guide you throughout the entire year because there are different market fluctuations within the year. And I want to make sure that you know how to trade or invest within all different months. Okay. So investing is not just a 1 month thing. You want to make sure that you're investing for the long term. Okay. Next question is, Steve, can I join if I don't have an emergency fund? No, you cannot. I'm being real with you here, okay? I love you guys. I do want you guys to get started with investing, but it's very important that you start that emergency fund first. If you don't have that emergency fund, you don't have your high interest debt paid off, you have a lot of debt, right? Then don't start investing yet. Pay that off first. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, okay? If you have a mortgage, yes, you can invest. You can do both. I have a mortgage too. A lot of our community members actually have mortgages. This is what actually a lot of rich people do. They have their mortgage on purpose and they also invest. A lot of people say, oh, I want to invest after my mortgage is paid off. That makes no sense. Why would you wait after 30 years after your mortgage is paid off and then invest, right? You can do both. We don't want to have this or that type of mindset. The next question is, Steve, can I still do this if I don't live in the US? Yes, absolutely. As long as your brokerage allows you to invest in US stocks or ETFs, then you are perfectly okay. So you can look into trading platforms like Interactive Brokers, okay? Awesome. Cool. I see Paul, Heather, and Brandon just signed up, and Lisa and Jordan just signed up. Congratulations. And Stephanie, Chris, and Megan, and Patrick, and Teresa. Awesome. Congratulations, everyone. Yeah, welcome to the community. Again, wait for the emails. I want you to go into the community, say hi, and I want you guys to watch a couple of videos and sign up for that first coaching call, all right? Because that's going to happen real soon right now. Any other questions? Let me see here. I'm looking through the comments. Steve, can I still invest if I don't know anything about the stock market? Yes, you can. Can you join the class? Yes, you can. That's why this community is here. It's for me to help you guys to get plugged into the stock market as a complete beginner. This is only geared towards people who have never invested before, and you need that beginner's guidance. Sound good? All right. Okay, so we have around 33 seats left. Congratulations. I see Sean, Nicole, Kyle, Brenda is here. Justin is here. Justin just joined, and Diana just joined. Awesome. Welcome, guys. Cool. And then once we have our seats filled up, then we are going to close registration. And awesome. We're going to just take off, and I'm going to work with you guys, the first cohort, and we'll just go on from here, and we'll start your investing journey. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are taking the leap of faith here. Awesome.